What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Jab Queen Boxing, and we back for yet another one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, okay? In this video, we are going to be in the welterweight division. And as you may or may not know, this division is starting to heat up a little bit. But let's focus specifically on Jerron Boots Ennis and Brian Norman Jr. Now, it's always a topic of discussion, who wins, back and forth. But I want to explore this. What if the fight doesn't even happen? So, yesterday I was on Mill City Boxing, and shout out to Mill City. He has the Normans on there a lot. I think it's safe to say they're friendly. And of course, they were taking some questions about his upcoming fight in Japan with Jin Sasaki. And I believe that's set to take place June 19th at the Oda City Gymnasium in Tokyo. That's also going to air on ESPN Plus. But as usual, they were flooded with a slew of questions regarding Jerron Boots Ennis. I mean, I was in the comments, I super chatted a couple questions, but naturally, they can only be answered as Mill City gets to them. So the ones he did read were kind of like halfway answered, whatever. Nevertheless, they got into the whole duck talk. It was kind of hard to follow after a while because Mill City also allowed callers. Some of them were chiming in. So it just kind of became difficult to follow the conversation. So I said, you know what, bump this. Let me go just see what I can find. And, obviously they kept mentioning the snake in the suit, Eddie Hearn. And numbers started getting thrown around. So I said, let me just go back. Not to the beginning of time, of course, but at least to try and construct some sort of timeline, put some puzzle pieces together. If I miss something, y'all please just let me know. And then we can, try and fit the pieces where they belong, I guess. So back in 2024, I believe it was around March or April of last year, Boots signed to Eddie Hearn, Matchroom. Well, at least that's when he posted it on his X anyway, right? Now, originally, I guess, when he signed with him, I'm not sure if Brian Norman was on the table, whatever Eddie had to do or say to get him to sign with him, fine, whatever. Nevertheless, let's move a little bit forward to now Brian Norman and Boots being mentioned in the same conversation. Are they going to fight? Are they not going to fight? Now, I was reading some stuff about, supposedly Eddie Hearn offered 500,000. It went all the way up to like 1.7. Now that does have to be split between Brian Norman Jr.'s whole team. And apparently it was declined. So that's where this whole thing ramped up. And, Brian Norman Jr. is saying Eddie lowballed him. It became a back and forth. So here's the timeline that I think I pieced together after that particular offer was made. I was able to find this on Eddie's X account at first, and then some snippets of Brian Norman Sr. talking about the offer. Take a listen.
The first offer was was less than a third of what Boots made for David Avenesian. David Avenesian is only famous for getting beat by or getting knocked out by Bud. We was picking at David Avenesian. We was picking at his name and everything about David Avenesian before he fought Bud. Now all of a sudden David Avenesian is a name. It's the same thing I said about everybody got to be attached to a person, then they become a name. All right. So now your first offer was that, and it was literally just a little bit more than what you gave David Avenesian. And my son is a world champion. He brings to the table the exact same thing that Boots brings to the table. Boots doesn't bring anything more to the table than my son brings. It's a unification bout. He has his belt. My son has his belt. My son is taking all the chances. He's taking all the risks. You got it? So that's what you do. The second offer was less than half of what Boots made his last fight. The third offer was half of what Boots made his last fight. To be exact, damn near. It was literally half of what Boots made his last fight. So imagine what Boots is going to make in this unification bout. Considerably more than he just made in his last fight. So not speaking actual numbers, I'm speaking actual facts. You tell me I'm lying. That's what it was. You did not want to make this fight. The only reason you did this was to tell Boots and his team that you tried to make the fight. You did not make the fight. I gave Boza the numbers. I told Boza what the numbers was. Boza know that's some bullshit.
So that was his response to, I guess, the first set of offers that were floating around between, him and Eddie Hearn. Now, what I gathered from that was he's basically saying, Boots wants undisputed, so, you got to pay me. I have also heard Brian Norman Sr. say that, his son can knock Boots out. Now, my last video, I stated that he hasn't had a knockout since 2021. So I do stand corrected. He has knocked out his last two opponents. Giovanni Santillan on May 18th of 2024, he knocked him out in the first round. And then Derek Cuevas on March 29th of this year, he knocked him out in the third round. So I do want to just make those corrections.
Yo, Brian Norman not good.
They just been in it. They just building themselves up off of Boots, man.
Good, yo.
He know what happened when he came to the gym. You know what I mean? So we don't worry about
They
him.
ain't gonna do nothing but talk.
All they doing is talking.
Social media, they on a social media tour right now. They talking. They trying to build their name up off me.
They've been doing it. That's what they've been doing.
They not really about it. If any of y'all in here made 100,000 y'all last fight and y'all got offered $2 million to fight me, what y'all doing? What y'all doing? Y'all gonna fight me, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's closed in the story right there. Closed key.
Yeah.
Yes, that shows what he really about for.
But you see when Brian Norman fought the last fight, he got caught on the chin. Look what happened. Imagine if Boots hit him on the chin. He going to sleep.
After a performance like that, no, we don't take less money. We take more money. So the other guys have got to, they'll get paid, but they have to show some ambition. It's just money, 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 money. What about trying to be number one in the division? Guys like Brian Norman, these guys, with all due respect to Brian Norman, he just boxed for about $150,000 on an undercard of Michaela Meyer against Andy Ryan at the Fontainebleau in Las Vegas. We can, if we go back to the Wells Fargo now to unify again, he will fill the whole place. 18, 19,000, unquestionably. So there's money in the pot, but you've got to show ambition as well.
Now, I have to say, I agree with Eddie because I say this all the time, and anybody I talk to will tell you, I have said this. Sometimes you have to take the opportunity over the money just to break through that barrier, get to the next level, whatever the case may be. Now, I do understand that it is a big risk for the Normans. I mean, let's be real. Boots ain't no walk in the damn park for nobody. You know what I'm saying? So I get where they're coming from. The money has to be right. Obviously, business is a part of boxing, and they're making sure they got their bag secured. I'm not mad at that. However, you have to kind of bring it into balance, guys. Like, you want this opportunity to become undisputed. I'm assuming that's what you want as well. We know that that's what Boots wants. Is that not what you want, Brian Norman Jr.? I would assume that you're fighting for the belts. I mean, we know it's prize fighting, so money, obviously. But I mean, aren't you fighting to see who can be the best? Um, Making a fight with Boots, I mean, is a fight that a lot of people are asking for. It's going to bring you a lot of money. If what Eddie just said was true, then obviously it'll be triple what you just got paid. I'm not, I don't know what you being paid for the Jin Sasaki, but just based on the last fight, again, if what Eddie said was true, then you would have been getting triple that amount to fight Jerome Boots Ennis and become undisputed. So to me, it just seems like that's a situation where you would want to take a gamble. But as I said, things got ramped up again because I'm not sure if Eddie, if he was on there yesterday before the Normans got on there, and, he made mention of the money again. But then this was them responding to what has been put out there and trying to clarify what it is that they want to do moving forward.
Down.
He's absolutely available now. I mean, we've made them an offer last week, and we've even said to them, if you are taking that fight in Japan, let's lock the fight in for after that. October, November, December, whenever. And they come back and say, we don't want to talk about any other fights until we have this fight. So I don't know. I mean, we can't rely on Brian Norman to chase any kind of greatness because the purse is outrageous in terms of what he's made. And, you know, it's a massive purse that
only signed the fight before my signed the contract before my next fight, June 19th. Why is that? And why he go put that out there? Because he know for a fact that's bad business, and I ain't going for it. He think I'm dumb. So with that being said, he go try to send all of y'all to come at me and try to egg me on and just try to, try to make me some kind of coward or anything like that. Knowing, look at what I'm doing. It's impossible to be a coward at looking at what I'm doing. It's literally impossible.
Listen. This is the bottom line. Jerron Ennis already turned down Teofimo Lopez. He said he wanted unification. This is the opportunity of unification for 2 fights in a row, his next fight. He already got an opponent. We already told him. I told everybody everything. We already agreed verbally to the fight. We're going to talk the details later. If they want to go another route, handle your business. We here for the fight. We already said it publicly. We're going to keep saying it publicly. Well, you know what? We ain't going to keep talking about the nigga. We fuck all that. You feel what I'm saying? We stopped talking about Boots. We stopped talking about Boots. And then we wake up this morning to this motherfucker saying our name. You feel what I'm saying? So like, what do you want? You feel me? What do you want? You trying to keep his name and I'm out. You know what I mean? We don't want to talk about him no more. Fuck him. We already said we want to fight him. Simple as that.
Well, I mean, that's what we got. I can't say we got no answers, but that's what we got. So I'm assuming this will be revisited after his Jim Sasaki fight. We will see if the next fight to be made is Jerron Boots Ennis and Brian Norman Jr. And from there, I guess we will determine who's ducking who. Until next time, y'all, catch me on the panel.